winterization on the 300 Suzuki today. We're going to do a full service and we're going to winterize it. It's the last stage of my winterization on the 24 Sailfish. As you can see, it has been laid up here at the house. Have the winter cover on. That is my custom canvas winter cover made by Fisher Canvas Products. Came with the boat. Love it. Saves me a ton of money in shrink wrapping expenses that I don't have to deal with. So I got Kevin from Browns Point Marine coming up, and we're going to get to work on this 300 and get it all serviced. We're going to do all the oil, we're going to do the anodes, we're going to do the water pump, and I believe we are doing spark plugs too. So full service. And in case you're wondering why I wouldn't do this myself, motor's warranted through 26, so I use the dealer because it keeps a good steady record of all my service. So if I do have a warranty issue, and you could go back and trace that you've serviced your engine in the intervals that you're supposed to, and you're following along with all your maintenance schedules, your warranties usually won't give you a hassle. So I bring them in, they take care of my engine, and they let me know it's running good. They'll plug it into the computer, they'll give me a nice readout of everything I've done with the engine and how it's run up until now. So next year when we put this boat back in the water, we hit the ground running, no worries. Oh, I got a crew today. All right, I have to roll credits after this one. So many players involved. Just park in the driveway when you get here. It's all good.
It's good. No, thanks. I appreciate that.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. How are you?
All right. What's up, brother?
Right, how are you? My ass off.
Feels like last year was yesterday.
Yeah. All right, let's take the
all right, little shot of the engine all uncovered. Looking good, nothing leaking.
Nope. Looks like somebody's been spraying it down appropriately.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You want it to look like this forever.
All right, let's trim that down a little bit, Alex, so we can get the plastics off.
Alright. What do we got here, Kev? What do we need for this service?
A complete maintenance kit here for your service. So Browns Point, we make maintenance kits for this engine and include your bar anode, all your internal anodes and O-rings, your complete water pump kit, your washer for your engine oil drain plug, which has to be replaced at every oil change, your propeller cotter pin, your gear case washers, your spark plugs and oil filter, and your low pressure fuel filter.
Okay, all that.
Everything that's going to get done on the engine today, along with a fog to make it safe for the winter.
Okay. And out that will come. Finish draining that out, and then pretty basic. Off with the old filter, on with the new filter, out with the old oil, in with the new oil.
So here's your crush washer. This is one season. You can see the indentation here, which is why you want to change them after every use. It probably would seal again, but it may not. So you can see the back side of it where it's raised, where it's been imprinted.
Yep.
So,
which is, you know, what we did with the with the 90 when I did that 20 hour.
So real important for the $2.17.
And just putting the oil right back in. Nice clean oil.
Nice clean semi-synthetic 10W40 Suzuki oil. Do not use a full synthetic. It's too slick.
No drippy drips. So you don't have to drain the oil out before you take that off.
If the engine's been sitting down in the down position for an hour or so, that filter will drain.
Well,
if you shut the engine off and change it, that filter is full. Now, a lot of guys will talk about starting and running the engine, warming it up to change the oil to help suspend the dirt, which is not a bad thing. I prefer to do it when it's cold for two reasons, frankly. One, you'll get more out of the oil pan because the oil has now cascaded off the engine and back into the pan. And two, frankly, it's cooler on your hands. You're not burning your hands on hot oil, okay? If you start it and run it and warm it up to suspend it, nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing, but you won't get as much oil out. If you just pull the plug and let it go cold, you'll get a little bit more oil out. Yes, there's a possibility there's a little bit more dirt left behind, but if you're changing your oil on a regular basis, that shouldn't be a big problem to begin with.
Okay, good tip. I've always done it with the hot, so it makes sense. I mean, and I guess if you're doing regular oil changes, there shouldn't be that much dirt in your engine.
Shouldn't be that much dirt anyway. The reality is, warm is going to suspend any of those particles a little bit, but frankly, we've been doing it this way for a long time, and I have not seen any adverse effects by doing it this way.
Well, listen, if you've been doing this engine that way for the last 3 years,
you know, and for us, we do enough of these on a regular basis. You know, if it was a problem, we would know it. There's your anode.
what do you say? What do you think?
Not bad, but they're
Not
getting
bad.
changed.
Yeah.
Getting changed.
Yeah, we usually do them every other year, right?
Yep. So you're doing a good job flushing the engine out.
That's my indicator.
That's your indicator. That's how I know. Now, these covers do have holes in them for a jack bolt to jack them out of the block, but you have to be careful using those because you can actually moor the block. So if you look really close, you can see the threads in there. What they want you to do is when this is in, you put a bolt in there and thread the bolt in to push the anode out. You can do that, but you have to be careful. If they're tight, you'll actually moor the top of the block here on the threads. And if you do that, well, we have big problems.
I'm all about avoiding big problems. Maintenance.
Pick all that out of there so we can unbolt it. Just want a good clean contact so that it's part of the circuit. It has to be connected, bonded into the ground so that it works.
Finished product. And here is a quick comparison of the anodes and why you want to change those out.
You usually put a little WD CRC on there. Let them slide in here a little easier. So you want to put them flat, and then you can just make it away. You don't pinch the O-ring that way. You can use a little bit of grease if you wanted to. I prefer the CRC WD-40. Slides right in. The holes are nice and clean. Wasn't really a lot of buildup in there. Sometimes if you get some buildup, you got to take a little bit of air, or you can vacuum them if you want. But
And you're saying these anodes are a big indication of how well you're flushing your engine?
sure, because if these have a lot of buildup on them, there's a lot of buildup around here. Obviously, you're not flushing it or flushing it long enough. So that's important. These are important because of our gaskets. Our head gaskets here are metal. All right, and now we have all these dissimilar metals together along with the charging system on this side, so we need these anodes to help reduce the electrolysis, which helps the engine last longer. So this is really cheap insurance to do to help the longevity of the engine.
All right, these are all the old plugs, as you can see, and they all look just like that. They're all the same. Nice sign of a healthy running engine. All indicators, which is why maintenance is so important. You need to know what your engine's doing, because when you run a single screw at center console, you want to know you're going home when you run offshore.
Look at you getting all smart on me now. You remember? Oh, wasn't that tight, huh?
No, I don't even think I needed that.
Look at you go.
See, that was preparation for the video.
That's it.
Video
Take that
prep.
part out.
Take that part out. Edit that out.
Wait till I do a voiceover for you.
You gonna turn me into Mickey Mouse? Thank you. So, on a 30-inch shaft motor, real important, up inside here, there's a spacer on the water tube, so that when the water pump goes up and in, it does this. You have to make sure you don't lose that or drop it, okay? It's got to go back in.
Water pump reassembly. Part numbers are always good, people always ask. School getting out. So that's an interesting, different thing I've never seen before in water pump assemblies.
So this gasket is tricky to get down sometimes because of how they are packed, but it should slide right into place once you get it aligned correctly.
Now they often have like these straight vertical sections in them like this one does? Or
Suzuki tends to, Yamaha and other brands usually do not.
do not, okay. But it all has tracks where they fit in, so it's...
Yes.
Spray it down with a little CRC to make it slide in.
There is a little keyway right here that locks it into place on the water pump housing. Make sure that is aligned correctly.
Just like that.
Just like so. So this water pump cup is in the housing correctly with the seal.
Now the gasket goes down dry. There's no compound that goes on there, no sealant. Nope. Nope, you were right the first time.
Take that part out.
Take that part out. Okay, so this goes down dry.
And those pegs tell you
Okay,
exactly
that's
where it goes.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is like a job evaluation.
Okay.
How do you think I feel when I go to work?
Yeah, you're on the
That's
camera
true.
every day.
That's a good point.
This is what happens. You become a little camera obsessed.
Yeah.
You get very comfortable with them in your hands, on your chest,
Yep.
you name it. All right, so those are what, wear plates?
So that's your wear plate.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take these screws, we're just going to put a little grease on them to the front plate. Just to hold that in place. Alex is going to get the keyway in for the impeller. New keyway.
Okay. That goes right there on the shaft.
Now the keyway should go in there tight. Sometimes you gotta squeeze them in, sometimes not.
Yeah, you can see it snapped in.
Yep, nice and snug. That's what's gonna lock your impeller blade to the drive shaft. The pump. That's the pump.
Everybody's getting sprayed today.
Yeah, everyone's getting a bath.
Sometimes that does happen.
Nope, you gotta have to get underneath it. So sometimes when you push down, it kicks that keyway out. So you gotta get underneath there and push it in a little bit while you're getting that impeller down into place. You want that impeller to come in contact with the wear plate, so it's down snug. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to coat the inside of the cup with a little CRC. Some guys will use grease. And what I don't like about grease, what you can't see is up in behind this plate inside is a vent hole for air. If you get grease in here and it clogs that vent hole, it can be a problem allowing the impeller to vent the air out prior to pumping. Okay. Push it down in place. You'll notice that Alex will make sure the O-ring doesn't slip. Twist it clockwise while you're pushing down onto the alignment pins. And
Already greased from
already
last
greased
time.
from the last time. There's plenty there. Stick them back in. Tighten it down.
Right. All right, just like that, the water pump is done and on. Nice new water pump. We ran 2 seasons with the old one, not a problem. Water flowed strong both seasons, so now we're back to square one with a brand new one. Maintenance, so important.
So it's really important to make sure this area is clean. You know, we hear, well, my engine's pumping, there's no reason to do a water pump. I haven't done one in 4 or 5 years or 6 years. Well, this area here is getting wear, and unless you have fresh, clean grease on there, it's going to be a failure point. Okay, so we want to make sure that's good and clean.
Plus, you always hear about guys that can't lower, they drop their lower units
right,
down.
well, it's stuck in here.
Right.
This gets stuck in the driven gear.
Yeah.
And then you wind up having to cut the drive shaft, pull the power head. You don't want to do that.
I've
Along
had
with
that happen on a motor I
If you
own.
look up inside here, okay, you'll see the grease fitting. All right, that grease fitting actually greases this area inside here, okay, to help keep those seals cool, okay, to reduce that wear. So we always put fresh grease on there. If you're greasing a grease fitting up in here, only 1-2 pumps, that's it. Don't go crazy because you'll actually blow the seal out here
Gotcha.
and create a problem.
So once a year, you're probably doing yourself a good service. Just
Yes.
as one pump once a
One
year.
pump once a year, or if you're so inclined, just pull the gear case down and clean it and put it up. It's not that hard. It gets everything apart, keeps everything lubricated. Now, there's 2 ways to put this gear case back up. I'm going to do it the way Alex and I usually do it on the road together. We put the shift shaft back up and into place under the power head first. All right, it's splined, it only fits one way, so we line it up, get it in there, and push it around, boom, it's up and into place. Okay, we're going to install the plate, the extension plate. I've already pre-greased these, cleaned the threads. It does have to go up fairly square, otherwise it will not go up. Now, talked about our spacer earlier. Spacer has to go on the water tube. Okay, we're going to take a little grease and put it on the spacer to help it stay on the water tube while we do this. What's going to happen is we're going to push this up and we're not going to be able to get the drive shaft to engage 100% without then shifting this plate back down. Okay, and then we'll line up the shift shaft. The other way to do this is going to be to put the shift shaft on the gear case, slide it up, align it under the power head, and then turn the drive shaft, which you'll see us do here in a minute. Which side do you want? So drive shaft goes in the drive shaft hole. Alice is going to push it up. We're going to line up the studs. Pull down a little bit. Line up the studs. All right, we see studs are lined up. He can't push any further. He's kind of locked up. So as we slide this down, that spacer block isn't going to disappear on us. We're going to reach in here and we're going to turn the drive shaft clockwise while he's pushing up a little bit. Okay? It just engaged into the driven gear. He's going to continue to push up. Stop right there. As he's pushing up, we have to move the shift shaft to align the shift shafts so they're aligned. Push up. And we're up and into place. Reach over. We'll usually grab one nut, one washer, put them on there real quick, and he can let go. The other way to do is leave the shift shaft on. Same thing. You're going to turn the drive shaft, but now as you push up, you have to reach under the power head and align that into place. That's it. Pretty simple. The reason why you want to change the gear oil in the fall, no matter what, is if you have water in there and it sits and freezes, it could crack the case.
Yeah.
If you have water in there, obviously you want to get that out for the gears and the bearings. And frankly, if you open that up and find water in there, it's a perfect time to take your gear case back off and drop it off at your shop, so you're not waiting 6 to 8 weeks in season. They can do it all winter long. That's the reality. Too many guys don't check and they find out the hard way. So, real important. Preventative, preventative, preventative.
That is the key to owning any boat.
Yep.
Or anything, really.
Yeah, it's a little dirty. It's not terrible.
No. I mean,
It's got a little wear on it, but that's nothing.
but we used it this year.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
the key.
a lot of these runs were long this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we, you know, we ran it offshore, had the motor running for hours.
Right.
All right, so you guys know how that works. We did that to the 90 back in the summer when we hit the 20-hour service. So we're gonna go ahead and finish that up, and then we're gonna get to fogging.
So we reset the oil change reminder, key on, safety off, and push the start stop button 3 times in 10 seconds. It resets the clock in the computer to tell you when you've hit 100 hours ago.
Okay, I always wondered why when I hit 100 hours it didn't tell me that I needed to do it. So I guess it's because you reset. You could reset it at any point.
At any
then.
point in time. So
That's
if you change the oil at 80 hours and you reset it, technically it's going to go off 180 hours.
Yeah.
So when you hit 100, it's not going to go off.
Okay.
Okay, that's why.
Cool.
Because it's always a moving target. And remember, 100 hours is a recommendation. It's not an absolute. Just like your car at 3,000 or 5,000 miles.
Right.
So.
Clear, clear. Good. Okay, here. Yeah, you're clear.
Hey, so that pretty much covers the service for my engine, especially for this year. And I filmed it this year because it was a full service. We did everything that we need to do to service the engine. We did the engine oil, the lower unit oil. We did the anodes. We did the spark plugs. We greased all the fittings. We checked everything. We sprayed down everything. It just, all I have to do next year when I put that boat in the water is push a button. I run a single engine center console, so having that thing tip top is super important. As you know, and as you've seen, I like to use my boat to the maximum capabilities that it can give me. So taking care of it is paramount. And what I like to get at the end of every season is a printout of the performance of the engine. I get these every single year. In fact, they gave me 2 this year because I didn't get my 22 printout last year. I just forgot to get it. But they gave it to me. So it is a printout of every single thing this motor did this season and also last season and the season before that too. It gives me every single piece of performance data that's gone on with my engine. So if I ever did decide to sell my boat, I can show somebody, hey, here's how my engine ran every single year I had it. This is all the maintenance I've done to it, and this is how it performed. No overheat codes, no electrical problems, no nothing. Suzuki's been a great motor for me. I'm a big believer in them. I don't bash any outboard maker because I think all the outboards are made well nowadays. I mean, just some of the stuff that you see out there is amazing. I'm partial to Suzuki for many reasons, as I've said before. You know, I think they perform well. Ever since I put that 300 on the Sailfish, it has changed the attitude of that boat. Had a Yamaha 250 on it. Did okay. Wasn't a bad motor, but it's not this motor. So just that's what works for me. But hey guys, that's all I got for you now. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys subscribing. I appreciate all the comments. I'm hoping for some weather to hold up so I can get out on a whaler maybe once or twice more this year. I just want to use that boat a little bit more. It's really kept me out of the woods because I've wanted to use my boats as much as I can before I turn to the woods and start hunting. Winter bow is coming up and I'm going to be all about that because that's when I know the boats will definitely be asleep. But big one's done. It's on the stands. Maintenance ready to go. Cover on it. And it's been a wonderful season. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching the videos, making nice comments, and even some of you guys with your great suggestions. I appreciate every one of you. So guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. See you guys on the next one.